The story of the Qin State begins in the rugged, mountainous region of western China, an area often overlooked in the grand narratives of early Chinese civilization. It was here, amidst the harsh terrains and modest resources, that the Qin people forged their identity. The early Qin State, established during the tumultuous Warring States period, was a minor player among the competing powers. However, this obscurity did not hinder its ambitions. Instead, it nurtured a spirit of resilience and innovation that would later propel Qin to unparalleled heights. Emerging from the periphery of Chinese civilization, the Qin State was initially a vassal of the Zhou dynasty. However, as the Zhou's power waned, the Qin rulers, known for their pragmatic and ruthless strategies, seized the opportunity to expand their influence. They built a robust military apparatus and implemented agrarian reforms to enhance productivity. These early efforts laid the groundwork for what would become a meteoric rise. The turning point for the Qin State came with the Ascension of Ying Zheng in 246 BCE. Born into a period of ceaseless warfare and political intrigue, Ying Zheng's early life was marked by chaos. Yet, these turbulent beginnings steeled his resolve. At just 13, he assumed the throne, although real power initially lay in the hands of his regents. However, by the time he reached adulthood, Ying Zheng had consolidated his authority, demonstrating a rare blend of cunning and ambition. As Ying Zheng matured, he transformed into a leader of formidable vision. In 221 BCE, he declared himself Shi Huangdi, or the first emperor of Qin, marking the beginning of an era that would reshape Chinese history. Shi Huangdi was not content with merely ruling a powerful state. He sought to unify the fractured territories of China, bringing an end to centuries of division and conflict. Under Shi Huangdi's command, the Qin military became an unstoppable force. The state's success was built on the innovative reforms of earlier rulers, but it was Shi Huangdi's relentless drive that truly galvanized the army. He employed the latest technologies and strategies, such as the use of iron weapons and the crossbow, which gave his forces a significant advantage. Moreover, his generals, such as Wang Jian and Meng Tian, executed brilliant campaigns that systematically dismantled rival states. The process of unification was brutal and swift. Beginning with the conquest of the Han state in 230 BCE, Shi Huangdi's armies moved methodically, crushing each opponent in turn. Zhao, Wei, Chu, Yan, and finally Qi all fell before the might of Qin. These victories were not merely military triumphs, but also psychological blows to the old aristocratic order, signaling the dawn of a new era. Shi Huangdi understood that to govern such a vast and diverse territory, he needed more than just force. He needed a system that could sustain his empire. To this end, he implemented a series of sweeping reforms that would leave a lasting legacy. Central to his vision was the establishment of a highly centralized bureaucratic state. He abolished the feudal system, which had allowed local lords to wield considerable power, and replaced it with a system of prefectures and counties directly controlled by the central government. This move not only curtailed the power of the nobility, but also ensured a uniform administration across the empire. Legalism became the guiding philosophy of the Qin State, emphasizing strict laws and harsh punishments to maintain order. The legalist doctrine, championed by Shi Huangdi's advisor Li Si, argued that human nature was inherently selfish and short-sighted, and only through stringent laws could a stable society be achieved. These policies, while draconian, succeeded in creating an efficient and obedient state apparatus. The reforms of Shi Huangdi had profound impacts on Chinese society. The standardization of weights, measures, and even the script facilitated trade and communication across the vast empire, fostering a sense of unity among the diverse regions. The construction of extensive infrastructure, such as roads and the beginnings of what would become the Great Wall, further integrated the empire and protected it from external threats. However, these achievements came at a tremendous human cost. The massive labor projects and the harsh legal system imposed by the Qin government led to widespread suffering and resentment. The peasantry, in particular, bore the brunt of these policies as they were conscripted into labor and the military, often under brutal conditions. Shi Huangdi's reign was a paradox of grandeur and tyranny. His vision of a unified China was realized through extraordinary means, but his methods sowed the seeds of discontent. Yet despite the harshness of his rule, Shi Huangdi's legacy endured. The concept of a unified Chinese state, governed by a centralized authority, would become the foundation of Chinese civilization for millennia. The Great Wall of China stands as one of the most iconic symbols of Chinese civilization, and its origins are deeply intertwined with the ambitions of the Qin Dynasty. Under the directive of Huangdi, the first emperor, a colossal effort was launched to fortify the empire's northern frontier against the incursions of nomadic tribes. While earlier states had constructed defensive walls, Huangdi's vision was unprecedented in scale and ambition. The construction of the Great Wall was a monumental feat of engineering and human labor. Stretching across mountains, deserts, and plains, the wall required the mobilization of hundreds of thousands of laborers. These workers, drawn from the ranks of peasants, soldiers, and prisoners, toiled under harsh conditions. The human cost was immense, with many lives lost to the grueling work and harsh environment. Yet, the wall they built would become a testament to the enduring strength and determination of the Chinese people. Beyond its defensive purpose, the Great Wall served as a symbol of the unification and power of the Qin State. It represented a physical boundary that delineated the civilized world from the barbarian, a concept that would resonate throughout Chinese history. The Great Wall, in its early form, laid the groundwork for the extensive fortifications that would be expanded and maintained by subsequent dynasties. One of the most profound achievements of the Qin dynasty was the standardization of various systems across the empire. This effort to create uniformity was not merely an administrative convenience, but a revolutionary change that facilitated the integration and cohesion of the vast territory. Before the unification under Qin, different regions used various currencies and measures, complicating trade and administration. Huangdi recognized that a unified economy required a standardized system. He introduced a uniform currency, the Banliang coin, which became the sole legal tender throughout the empire. This standardization greatly simplified trade and economic transactions, fostering a more interconnected and prosperous economy. In addition to currency, the Qin dynasty standardized weights and measures. This move was crucial for commerce, taxation, and construction, ensuring fairness and consistency across the empire. Merchants could now trade goods with confidence, knowing that a measure of grain or a length of cloth meant the same thing in every corner of the realm. This innovation not only boosted economic activity, but also reinforced the central authority of the Qin state. Perhaps the most enduring legacy of the Qin dynasty was the standardization of the Chinese writing system. Prior to Qin unification, various regions used different scripts, which hindered communication and administration. Li Si, the prime minister under Huangdi, spearheaded the effort to create a standardized script known as the Small Seal script. This reform had a profound impact on Chinese society and culture. A standardized script facilitated the administration of the empire, enabling the efficient dissemination of laws, decrees, and cultural texts. It also helped unify the diverse peoples of China under a common cultural framework. The standardized script would evolve over time, but the foundation laid by the Qin would endure, becoming a cornerstone of Chinese identity. The legalist philosophy that underpinned Qin governance left a lasting mark on Chinese political thought. Legalism emphasized the importance of a strong, centralized state, strict laws, and harsh punishments to maintain order and stability. While the severity of Qin legalism led to widespread resentment and ultimately contributed to the dynasty's downfall, its principles influenced the governance of subsequent dynasties. Future rulers adopted and adapted aspects of legalist thought, balancing it with Confucian ideals of benevolence and moral governance. This synthesis created a resilient and adaptable framework that would support the longevity of the Chinese imperial system. The Qin dynasty's ambitious infrastructure projects, such as the Great Wall and an extensive network of roads and canals, had long-lasting benefits. These projects facilitated military movement, trade, and communication, laying the foundations for a unified and prosperous empire. Subsequent dynasties would build upon these foundations, expanding and improving the infrastructure to suit their needs. By imposing standardization across the empire, the Qin dynasty forged a sense of unity and shared identity among the Chinese people. The use of a common script, currency, and measures helped integrate diverse regions and cultures into a cohesive whole. The reign of Qin Huangdi was marked by extraordinary achievements, but these came at a high human cost. The first emperor's vision for a unified and powerful China was relentless, and his methods of governance were harsh and unforgiving. His legalist policies, while effective in maintaining order, were often draconian, instilling fear and resentment among the people. Central to Huangdi's rule was the idea that strict laws and severe punishments were necessary to control human behavior. This legalist approach, championed by his advisor Li Si, resulted in a highly repressive regime. minor infractions could lead to harsh penalties, and dissent was ruthlessly crushed. Public executions, forced labor, and collective punishments were common, creating an atmosphere of terror throughout the empire. The emperor's vast construction projects, including the Great Wall and his own elaborate tomb guarded by the famous terracotta army, required immense labor. Hundreds of thousands of workers were conscripted, many of whom died from the grueling conditions. These projects, while symbols of the emperor's power, also epitomized the suffering endured by the common people. Huangdi's quest for absolute control extended beyond physical infrastructure to cultural and intellectual life. In an effort to consolidate power and eliminate any potential threats to his rule, he ordered the infamous burning of books and the burying of scholars. This act aimed to eradicate Confucian ideals and other philosophies that contradicted legalist principles, thereby stifling intellectual diversity and dissent. These oppressive measures alienated the intelligentsia and bred resentment among the populace. The emperor's paranoia and desire for immortality led to further excesses, including the search for elixirs of life and the construction of secret passageways in his palace. As his health declined, his obsession with immortality grew, contributing to increasingly erratic behavior and decisions. The seeds of rebellion were sown in the very policies that Huangdi implemented to maintain control. After his death in 210 BCE, the empire was left in the hands of his less capable son, Qin Shi, whose weak leadership exacerbated the existing discontent. The heavy taxation, forced labor, and brutal punishments had already pushed the people to their limits. The death of the emperor, coupled with the incompetence of his successor, ignited a spark of rebellion that spread rapidly. The first major uprising began in 209 BCE, led by Chen Sheng and Wu Guang, two former soldiers who were conscripted into forced labor. Their rebellion, though initially small, resonated with the widespread discontent among the peasantry. Their cry of, "The emperor has perished, the world shall rise," echoed the sentiments of countless oppressed citizens. The rebellion quickly gained momentum as more regions rose up against the Qin authorities. Local leaders and former nobles who had suffered under Qin's harsh rule seized the opportunity to regain power. The insurrections spread like wildfire, and the once formidable Qin State began to crumble under the weight of widespread revolt. Amid the chaos, a former peasant and low-ranking official named Liu Bang emerged as a key figure in the fight against the Qin Dynasty. Known for his charisma and military acumen, Liu Bang initially joined the rebellion as a local leader. His pragmatic approach and ability to garner support from various factions made him a formidable contender in the struggle for power. Liu Bang's rise was marked by a series of strategic victories over the Qin forces and rival warlords. His success lay not only in his military prowess, but also in his ability to appeal to the common people and other disaffected groups. By presenting himself as a champion of the people and a restorer of justice, he gained widespread support. In 206 BCE, Liu Bang's forces captured the Qin capital of Xianyang, marking the end of the Qin dynasty. The last Qin ruler, Ziying, surrendered to Liu Bang, bringing an official close to the short but impactful reign of the Qin. The dynasty that had achieved so much in terms of unification and centralization fell swiftly due to the very policies that had initially secured its power. With the fall of the Qin, China entered a period of intense power struggles among various factions vying for control. Liu Bang emerged victorious from this turbulent period, establishing the Han Dynasty in 202 BCE. As Emperor Gaozu, Liu Bang retained many of the administrative practices of the Qin, but tempered them with a more humane approach to governance. The Han Dynasty, under Liu Bang's leadership, sought to learn from the mistakes of the Qin. While maintaining the centralized bureaucracy and legal reforms, the Han rulers adopted Confucian principles to create a more balanced and benevolent government. This synthesis of Qin legalism and Confucianism provided a stable foundation for what would become one of the longest-lasting and most influential dynasties in Chinese history.